That should have sound working. Okay. I feel like I need to whisper because this evening's so still. And I'm afraid that if I talk too loud, we might scare away some of those birds. And they're just gorgeous. Okay. We have the boats of Hong Kong here. My lovely, lovely bag of tricks. And a plate, right on cue. So, great comment. So, we're going to continue. Bang on time. Great emoji use there. Welcome on in, guys. Just got a bunch of yellow paint all over my hands, so such is life. And we have a lovely new white shirt, so talk about risking it for the biscuit, but we'll see how we go. How long did you spend on that one? Great question. Great question. I haven't tallied it up properly, but in all honesty, I don't know. Someone's going to need to tell me. I don't know where we're at now. We've spent a bit of time on it though. It's just a fun one to keep painting, in all honesty. We've got to be careful not to go too close to the ledge because this will be very unforgiving if we fall off it. There will be no save. Yo, I'm from New Zealand too. Cheer from Rotors. Well, you're going to love this. Guess where this is? This is Lake Tarawera. So we're actually coming to you from Rotorua too. In fact, check this out. I'm just going to lift you up for a moment. That is Lake Tarawera. Sorry, Mount Tarawera. There in the background. It's got a little bit of cloud on it. And the lake. Look at the lake. Absolutely stunning. It's pretty special. Put you back right back where you were. So, Rotorua, aside from the likes of Yellowstone, which actually has more geothermal activity, it's one of the places in the world known for the most geothermal activity. Yellowstone has more, but Rotorua has it more compressed. Yeah. So Steve, we were out here yesterday as well, but the issue yesterday is that wind. That wind was just so freaking potent. But today, Steve, today we get a very, very relaxed day, which is pretty fun. And speaking of relaxed, chat, tell me, for those who are subscribers, the Wild Crew, how have we found the most recent videos, the ones about, there's a lot of comments that I want to reply to, but I don't. And I thought it could be fun just to put that in the corner there with us, however many, 60, 80 of us. So how do we feel about that? Is it junk or is it funny? Because I'm ready to hear it's junk. If it's junk, I'm all ears. But if it's funny, I mean, we can keep doing it. Keep up the good work. Thank you. There we go. This is just going to team up through here. That lovely rosé colour just has a potency to it. All right, good, good. I felt a bit bad. I felt like I should have consulted you guys first and gauged your feelings on it before I started just firing off reels. But honestly, I had some fun trolling through comment sections and just pulling out comments, and I've got a bunch on drafts because I didn't want to inundate you guys, but expect a few. And I think the funniest thing about that too is if there is like wild, outlandish comments on the videos, you can shake your head and be like, I wonder what Seb's going to say to that. Because since it's a private corner, we can kind of grab the outlandish comments and it won't really affect the art or like the whole outward promotion of it. We're in a kind of core, circular, smaller group, so we can be more relaxed, is my taking on it. The reason why you'd have a wild crew is they can just be a bit more wild and a bit more uncouth. I was always passionate, and you guys know we've talked about this, I was always passionate to never put the art itself behind a paywall. But guys, my opinions, surely the whole world doesn't need to hear those. Just the core group. And anyway, so Steve, some funny news as well. Surfing. So Shelby's surfboard fits in our new RV. For those who don't know, we've got an RV for 2025, and Shelby and I, with Cooper, are going to go travelling around New Zealand to a bunch of different sites all over New Zealand to paint in. This is a gorgeous site. This is Tarawera. So when you say Tarawera, you actually roll the R's to say it with correct pronunciation, similar to Spanish, but not too many. Not just one. Tarawera. And anyway, we want to go all over New Zealand and do this in a bunch of different amazing spots. But the wild card is that in the camper van we've got, my surfboard doesn't fit. So what do you do about that? You've got a beautiful camper van and your surfboard doesn't fit. Castle Point would be an amazing spot. Agree. See, these are the kind of places that when we start getting going, we want to hit all of these locations, one after the next. That's the plan. Let me just, I hope you don't mind. I need to stand back a little bit from the work today. The light's a bit funny, but at the same time, the lake is absolutely popping. So I'll try not to stand too much in the way of it, but unfortunately, reality will do, as reality will do. Gorgeous. Creep down the sides there. I'm just going to keep on coming in a few of these little spots. Okay. So you really want it to build up multiple textures and colours. For water to look right, numerous layers. Numerous layers, one over the next. Don't go easy on water. Some people think one little transparent coat and we'll be there. No, 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 no. Energy, vitality, many, many layers, one after the next. That's how you get water where you want it to be. Hello, Martin. Surfboard racks on the roof of the RV. There's a bike rack on the back. It started with that. But surf racks on the roof? I mean, possibly. Look, Shelby's surfboard is shorter and it fits. And technically, Steve, one of us needs to be back with the camper anyway, to be with Cooper. So it's not the end of the world. And honestly, I can use Shelby's surfboard because I'm actually quite short and like I'm not over 6 foot, like 5'11". And so her surfboard's just a little bit short for me, but that's okay because I've got no idea what I'm doing. So why does it matter if the surfboard's not quite right? Like, there's too much skills that need to be developed before we start worrying about the perfect surfboard, if you know what I mean. Who's saying hello there? I'm going to check that in just a second. You have to hang around for a moment. Just wait for me to add just a little bit more white and yellow. Just up around these top parts. There we go. Beautiful. And up through here. That's what I want. A bit more. Gorgeous. Okay, this is my ASMR. Well, I'm glad to be here for you. Equator, hello, welcome on in. And Seb, do you teach it all? Okay, teaching. I did, especially about a year or two ago, we did deviate and welcome in a few private lessons with people. And though it was really successful, it was amazing. I learned a lot, they learned a lot, we connected, it was great. I feel like the ability to actually permeate ideas, because intrinsically craft can be developed in any YouTube video or from any teacher, but ideas and actual feeling and how to enjoy it, that's something truly potent that you can't just learn anywhere, it's hard to find. I feel like sharing that in a forum like this, where it's free and you can engage with it, I feel like that's the most powerful one. So we've stopped any private lessons. Now, if you're desperate, reach out. But like, guys, in terms of the feeling, the actual environment for painting and the actual ideas behind it, the philosophies, you don't need a private lesson. You can get that right here for free. It just seems weird for us to believe that something that we need, if you're an artist, because you need those things, could just be free because we expect to just pay for things. It's just the psychology. You won't find all the answers here, but you'll find a pretty good start. I find most of the best answers I've ever had came from people who weren't artists. They were, one of the guys was actually a handyman, a joiner. His name was Dale. He built frames for me at the start, but he was so much more than that. He had so much intelligence towards everything. Towards building frames, towards... He turned a car radiator in his workshop into a heater and a cooler. Incredible, absolutely incredible. But the philosophy he had towards art, he'd always preface it by saying, I don't actually know about art. And yet, by doing so, he expected to be like, it's because I don't know about art, but I still have this point to make. And I was hanging on to a thread, hoping to hear the point, because it's not like I don't do art so I don't know about it. Everyone knows about art. Everyone intrinsically knows everything you need to know about art. And the best thing an artist can do is listen to people who aren't artists, because their opinions on art are game warping. And one funny one, actually, and there's someone in this chat that was part of the conversation. We had a verbal session ages ago on TikTok. We were just trying out different features. And in that verbal session, we were talking about prints. And afterwards, I was like, you've got me thinking big time. And afterwards, the person actually apologized and was like, no, I didn't mean to. I'm like, no, you've actually got me thinking. And since then, we actually pulled prints off the website, because I thought, no, this isn't correct. It's not where I need it to be. And in the new year, I feel like we've come up with a solution, with the thing that makes prints really special. So what we've done is, get this, you're gonna love this. What we've done is, for prints in 2025, they'll be the same, but there'll be a section on the website when you go to buy it where you can actually write in a personal note. Because one thing I remember is I was in Chicago at a blues bar, and there was a guy who owned the bar. I forget his name, but he was a very famous blues player, and I really wanted a poster from him. And we had a little garage at the time, and in the garage were a couple of seats and a little liquor cabinet and a bar, and I just wanted him to write Eagle Bar 2016 or whatever it was. And a security guard, big guy, stood in front of me and put his hand up. And he said to me, no, he'll only sign it. And I thought, I just want this one personalised note. I bought it anyway, but I've looked at it ever since and thought, if only he wrote a personal note on it, that would be one of the greatest things I own right now. Anyway, I realised that there's nothing stopping us from doing that with prints, and we'll see how you guys feel about it. Obviously, I haven't set it up yet. It's for 2025, but the idea is that you can actually order a print and then write a custom note into it. So if you're buying a print for a friend or a family member or a loved one, whoever, you can actually get a customized note put on it. And I'll sit down and I'll write the note on it with a permanent pen myself, and I think that makes the print special, and it kind of justifies its existence beside the original, if that makes sense. Sorry, butterfly, blue butterfly. I do read the chat. I just fall behind all the time. Where are you at? The background is so pretty. I need to go there. Oh my god. So, the background behind me is Tarawera. Tarawera is a place in New Zealand. It's in Rotorua, and it's one of the places in New Zealand known for a significant amount of geothermal activity, comparable with Yellowstone, which is in America. If you listen very carefully, that is the most unsatisfying thing on the face of this planet. Oh, when you have a sneeze and you expect it and you lean into it, and then it slips away. I'm heartbroken. That breaks my heart. The background looks fake. I'll take you for a little spin in just a second. Let me just get a little bit more of this paint on here. But where we should actually go is right down to the water's edge. But I thought this might be fun, so you can get more of a high angle. I'm glad it's not a weird thing that's just for me. I'm glad we all have those same feelings towards sneezes. A good sneeze is hard to compete with, so deeply satisfying. So there is the water's edge just down there. We have to be careful because that's about a 2 metre drop. So if I fall off that, let's watch out for that. Spinning around here this way. If we look out there, you'll see just going past that buoy right now, there's a swan. So Tarawera doesn't have white swans, at least not many if there are, but these black swans patrol the waters. They're friendly, just don't go too close. And then that's Tarawera in the background. Lovely nature everywhere. And you can see down this side, except for that tree being in the way, so we'll go this way. You can see little jetties, one after the next. So those jetties, a fun thing about jetties in New Zealand, or jetties on Tarawera, is actually you can pull up in your boat and you can moor to them and hang out there. And same with ramps. You can launch your boat off any ramp around Tarawera, which is a really nice, fun touch. So anyone could moor up on the jetty right down in front of me here. But what stops that from happening is obviously why would you want to, but here we go. Deeply satisfying. My God, that had been priming for a while. We might get another one yet. Oh, I can feel it coming. I can't wait. So that's quite fun because if you're in a boat, you're not limited to just the jetty that you launched off, just the ramp that you launched off. You can land on any jetty and be a part of this amazing lake. So people own the jetties, but you can still moor to them. Whew, a little bit of hay fever around, just navigating that. There we go, you gorgeous, gorgeous sun. There we go. And a bit. There we go. A little bit of that blue. There we go. Oh. I'm interrupting. No, you are not. You're more than welcome to be here. Renting one with your friends would probably be so fun. It would be. Have you met a Canadian goose? They're mean and will hiss at you for no good reason. Sometimes these geese will hiss too, but only if you get too close. They're really not like that most of the time. They just add a wonderful element to the scenery here. Whew. Excuse me sniffles. It seems in the stillness. The hay fever is running just a wee bit more rampant, but that's okay. Absolutely stunning. Sniffer. I can't promise it's the last sniff, but I can promise that I'll do my best. Okay, where do we go next? Just through here. Beautiful. What a glorious day for it. At what point did you feel you were ready to sell art? My journey was a little bit different from that. But that is a good question. So, my first sales in art were not from selling art because I didn't want to sell it. I wanted to keep it. But when people came to me and said, "Can I please get a commission? I would like this. I would like that." I said, "I can make that for you." And that turned it from a question of, "Are you ready to sell art?" to, "What do you price the art as?" Which in some ways is not an easier question. So the way in which I started, the way in which I priced my first pieces of art is I would work out the cost of the frame, because this is actually coming from Dale and my background talking to people who weren't artists. And I would work out the cost of the frame, the cost of the canvas, all the things that were going to cost me money to bring the artwork into existence. The brushes, the paint, the everything. And I'd put that on an invoice, every piece of it, all broken down line by line, $7, $13, $40, $200, whatever it was, every part of it. And then I thought to myself, well, how much am I worth? And I actually put myself in as half of minimum wage in New Zealand when I started, because I thought, okay, I'm nervous and I don't want to overprice the artwork, so I'll charge myself at half of what it costs someone to do the checkout operation at a supermarket in New Zealand. So if you've got a supermarket in New Zealand and someone's scanning your products through, they would be getting paid double what I was willing to charge you to make my original pieces of work. And then as time went on, I did a few, I thought, right, I kind of know what I'm doing and the customer knows what to expect. I'm going to charge minimum wage, which means that when I'd make the commissions, basically for every hour I spend, you'd be paying me the same as what you'd pay someone to dig holes, to stock supermarket shelves, to scan your items at a supermarket. And then on top of the minimum wage, I'd add the cost of all the materials I used to bring the artwork into existence. And from there, that's the minimum you could charge. Otherwise, you should go work at a coffee shop. Now you'd ask, well, how do you increase your price? Well, as you do more and more works, you'll start to love the works more, and you'll start to think to yourself, no, if you're only going to pay me minimum wage, I would prefer to keep the work and work at a coffee shop. When you start to think like that, the price of your commissions doesn't go up because someone's stupid and will pay you $20,000 for a commission. The price goes up because at $1 less, you'd prefer to keep the artwork and repay them their money. Now, you know you're in the right place with that and you're taking the right commissions when you take it, and at the end of it, when you're getting the final deposit and you're about to ship it, that you would just as happily, or better still, more happily, this is the right place to be, more happily, give them back their money and keep the painting. That's when you've threaded the needle. If you're thinking, sitting there in New Zealand or in America or Europe, wherever, thinking, oh, I really hope they take it. I don't know if I nailed it. I hope they keep it. Oh my God, I charged them way too much. You need to be honest about that. And maybe the painting needs more work, or maybe you just need to start again. That's okay too. But you need to get to a space where actually if the client said to you at the end of the painting, I'd like to sell it back to you, I don't want it, that you would say, yes, please. Oh my God, thank God you said that. I love this painting. That's the space you need to be in. But I can't tell you how to get to that space, only that you need to be there. And I know that's annoying, but in all honesty, what one artist does to get to that frame of mind versus what another artist does, these are two completely different answers. And what I say won't help you. Your style of art is wonderful and so full of movement. Well, thank you very much. The part of the idea of the style is to transpose feeling, and to make that happen, both on the canvas and off it, there does need to be movement. You can toil away, and like in the previous layers here, we have built up some detail, standing relatively static and just building on the artwork, but to really land those punches that'll make the artwork special, well, we have no choice but to engage in a large amount of movement. There we go. This painting though, and I haven't talked to Ross for a few days, but this painting's hilarious because I've had so many collectors reach out to me about this one, these boats in Hong Kong, and be like, is that one available? Can I have that one? I'm like, guys, I'm so sorry, but this is a commission. But it's pretty special. There's something about sunsets. Now, I would never pack up and just paint sunsets one after the next, but I mean, maybe I would. But doing one, I mean, maybe I would. But doing one, that you find fulfillment with family and or loved ones. G'day from San Francisco. I like your that wharf that goes out into the sea with the seals. Seals or walruses, I forget, but playing around on the end of the wharf. Amazing restaurants. That was my first experience in America, San Francisco. Getting out of the airport and having a look around, a wide-eyed New Zealander confused with a place so humongous. Good to see you paint. You make me faint. You do it. I just did the San Francisco bit, but the rest was fairly funny. There we go. I gotta show you this, guys. Gotta show you this. So just behind the work, and you can see, if I bring you up close, how messy it is. That's part of its charm. But let me bring you up here, just behind us. Can you hear them? Let me get a better grip on the stand here. That's a whole little gang of ducklings. There we go. Gorgeous. Having the best of times. Now we're out here painting, but let's be very clear. We are in their space. Give them food. Look, in this lake, there is an absolute abundance of food for them. And if we had some, we'd share it. But gorgeous little family having a great time down there. Just get this. I was just about to say a naughty word then. A guttural word. Would have been very naughty to frame how much I'm in love with this painting right now. I'm really, really enjoying this one. No, Ducky is friend. Yeah, you're right, Ducky is friend. But trust me, at 6 p.m. in New Zealand, Ducky has had plenty of food. This lake is absolutely abundant. And now, they're just hanging out as a family. Which is exactly my plan on Christmas Day. Here we go. What an absolutely gorgeous place. There we go. There we go. Gorgeous. Now into more of a deep grey tone. We're just going to let that roll over some of these hills. Just like that. And through here. There we go. Get right up on the edge here. Right the way out. Gorgeous. It's quite a light grey, but it's a welcome grey. Because it's going to get into these little pockets. And just tone back some of the intensity in some of these colours. I've got an orthodox relationship with grey. So, it's funny, because when I first started, I didn't like it. It wasn't my favourite. But as time went by, I started to realise that grey in itself may not be an exciting saturated colour. But when used in coordination, correlation with other colours, well, grey is a catalyst. Grey is the ultimate catalyst of your colour palette to send artwork to a new space. You see, there's only so saturated that your greens, your blues and your reds can get. To take it to that next level, you need grey. Grey to be the contrast between the two. Grey to send to a place where by itself it couldn't go. April. How long have I been painting? I've been painting full time as an artist since I was about 3 years now. 3 years I've been a full-time artist, but painting, jeepers. I dropped out of art school in 2011. I finished first year and then dropped out and completed a degree in art history and philosophy. But probably started painting in 1996. So that was when I was 3 years old. And thanks to Mara. Seb is good, fire bad. Now I'm confused. I did my best with most of those comments. I feel like I nailed it, but at the tail end there, I definitely suffered from a bit of confusion. Here we go. Gorgeous. Big yawn. Gorgeous environment. Kind of place it feels so nice to yawn. I've got a new shipment of pigments coming in as well, which for this work here, I'm hoping they arrive for, because there's a few colours that I want to add in subtly. Not to take over the work or dramatically change it, but just subtly in it before it ships. This one's going to be with me over Christmas, I should say. So this one's not leaving my side until 2025. Over Christmas, I should say. So this one's not leaving my side until 2025. There we go. Gorgeous. One colour after the next. Building a painting into fruition. Is it enough? Only time will tell. Just down in there. There we go. There's a real lack of ultramarine blue. Here it is, hidden away from me. This is the colour I need. This is the colour I want. There we go. Gorgeous. This is the colour right here. You see that? That's the blue we've been working to. Kind of phthalo tealish kind of colour. The other one was turquoise. You can see the difference in here. This is what we want. Thanks, Steve. This one was a really interesting one because the simplicity in the work was abundant, and a smooth gradient of the sky, and then these strong contrasting boats. And so we couldn't tackle it in the same way where we go wild everywhere. we needed to be delicate and make sure we controlled certain elements to allow these actual boats to have presence, for the landscape to move backwards to a horizon, and to allow the sky to actually rise up from it. It didn't want to seem like a splat. It wanted to have, dare I say it, just a little bit of perspective. Okay, let's get a bit more in here. Okay, this is the ultramarine blue, so it's going to come in so nicely. It's been a while since we've used this colour. God, every time I use it though, I just fall in love with it all over again. Ultramarine blue. In Latin, I'm so sorry, subs. All the subs that are here and have heard me say this 10,000 times, I'm so sorry. We're not going to give the whole story, but in Latin, ultramarine blue means beyond sea. And there's a million beautiful stories from a book called The Secret Lives of Colour. But I always come back to that one because for me, that one's my favourite. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. For ultramarine blue went from a colour so rare, it was worth its weight in gold, to a colour so commonly used. And that's okay, but the mere beauty of the colour, to then have it in my arsenal for the cost of regular white, that kind of pivot is unheard of in history. So when you see ultramarine blue or royal purple in ancient artworks, realise the intention that sat behind it. Whereas now, I can just pick up royal marine blue and add it to any painting. Ultramarine blue, and add it to any painting in just a heartbeat. Whereas the old masters had to consider exactly where it would go. So in some ways, the use of royal purple and ultramarine blue are truly more wild in 2024 than they have been in any other point of history, because it was so expensive in history that to be reckless with it was not an option. And so control was baked in as a necessity. But now, with control completely lapsing, we see the most abundant use of it ever in history. And I think that in itself is pretty special. Here's the brush I'm after, as small as can be. While I love the brush we're using, it's just a bit too big. We need something a little bit more delicate, just to play around on a few of these little pockets. Howdy. There we go. I always feel bad for people walking past as we're painting here. The only wild card is they hear me talking, but they don't see the camera. It can be quite subtle, And so as they walk past, they just hear me in front of a canvas being like, perfect. And they're like, you can sense the energy. They're a bit weirded out, but I've got past that over the years. But I also understand how bewildering that must be. You don't see painters around every day. Hello, welcome on in. We've got a little bit more light left, just a little bit. And children I have. Well, that's an interesting question, between how many children I have and how many children I want. I want about 7. I love kids. But I have 1. There we go. But yeah. I know some people say they don't want to have kids. It doesn't fit with their lifestyle and things. I get that. For me, it's all I want. It gives purpose to my lifestyle. Without it, I'd be constantly asking myself the existential question, why? But with it, well, I feel empowered. There we go. Who's that there? Malachi. Oh no, that's the same one. Sorry, getting mixed up there. Lana? Lana. Welcome in, Lana. Yo, Seb, that's looking amazing. Ship it over. Craig, I am terribly sorry, Craig. Well, that was on the list of possibilities. Unfortunately, this particular piece has a home. It's the boats of Hong Kong, and it's actually going to Hong Kong. Craig's like, I know that, you drongo. I've been in the last 5 lives. Or he's putting up laughy faces like he's playing it off cool. Thanks, Craig. I appreciate that. Hey, are you in the North or the South Island? This is the North Island, so this is Lake Tarawera. It's one of the many lakes in the North Island. It's an absolute stunner, especially in the evening. Let me show you how the lights changed. Let me bring you up here. Okay, so we'll do a quick little zoom in on the painting. You can see how rough it gets up close. Okay, come out from there, and you can see. Wow. Okay, so the light there, it's getting more and more muted as the evening goes on. But gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And that there, for all you internationals, that mountain over there, this is your first live experience with Mount Tarawera. So it's a really, really important one. You can actually Google the eruption of Mount Tarawera, and it was visible from all over the world, the smoke cloud. Humongous, absolutely humongous. No, wait, that was Taupo. We'll paint there next. Tarawera was still also massive eruption, massive. It looks like Venice, not Hong Kong. Well, that's interesting. Is that because you see boats and assume Venice? One thing, and I'd actually be on board with you 100%, but I actually, it was Ross who changed my mind when he said, no, this is a harbour. This is a group of boats 3 minutes from my house in the centre of Hong Kong. And I said to him, Ross, we have to paint that. Everyone thinks Hong Kong is just a massive city. But this perspective you have, this understanding of this place, I've never been there, this is the game changer. We need to paint the boats. So I'm glad you see Venice, because it's Hong Kong. And kinda in the middle of Hong Kong is Venice, in a small, weird way. And Johannesburg is wet. I always thought South Africa was just really warm and dry. Is that ignorant of me? Is that the Under the Mountain volcano? I don't think it's the volcano from, maybe. Is that a movie? When you said Under the Mountain, I started thinking of The Hobbit. And I think that's incorrect. I don't think you meant The Hobbit. I wish The Hobbit was filmed here at Tarawera, but no. Have I painted in Christchurch? We will, but no, we haven't. Where in Christchurch would you recommend? Because that is something I would love to do. Whereabouts would you go? And what would you paint? Bear in mind that you want to do something that captures the imagination of people worldwide. So what's something that actually resonates with people from all over the world? So that allows as many people as possible to be part of the journey. For example, when we do things like the Milford Track, people from America, from Europe, from Asia, everyone's walked this track on different adventures they've had to New Zealand. And so to paint it resonates in the hearts of many, many people all over the world. So what's in Christchurch that does that same thing? Had a bit of a drought, but it's humid and wet now. Had a few days of rain. All right, Craig. All right. Those boats in the Hong Kong harbour are manned by old ladies. Good on them. Powerful. Does it make a difference between old ladies or old men? Does it matter? I mean, I've met a lot of fishermen who are actually much better fisherwomen than a lot of fishermen that I've met. So I'm glad you pointed it out, but is it relevant? Sorry. Little old grandmothers in Hong Kong harbour use the boats for taxis. That is the cutest thing in the whole world. The boats are called junks and they're used for taxis. Taxis. That is the cutest thing in the whole world. The boats are called junks and they're used for taxis. Why does it matter? Why does it capture your imagination? The one thing that I would seize on, for example, in Christchurch is the world heard about the Christchurch earthquake, but then it left the news because life gets so busy. And the question is, how did Christchurch rebuild? And whether we go to somewhere where we actually built an amazing structure in the place of, you know, massive adversary, or whether we're still trying to rebuild, a landscape depicting that could be something quite special, maybe. And you get there and have a look around. They take tourists around the harbour. All right. Well, that's exciting to know. We're learning a lot this session. That's what's fun, though. That's what's really fun about doing a live set of a painting with a story like this one, because people can come in and give us information on it, tell us about things to do with it, that otherwise I'd be sitting here painting blissfully unaware of. I didn't know these were called junks. I'd honestly call for a rebrand on that. Could we call them treasures? Cheers, Craig. Oh, that's lovely, Craig. That's a lovely thing to do. This is so surreal and inspirational, like I'm basically expanding. Please, welcome on in, dolphin, but don't go in the water. This is fresh water, and if you're a dolphin, you're used to salt water, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not a marine biologist, but I think that's dangerous for your health. Interesting. Art all over the buildings. There is indeed. And no one put your thumb out of joint, Steve. I love what you're doing, and I agree. But the light's getting a little bit dim for your artist to be able to see. And while we could keep painting, as it gets darker, the probability that I land colours in the wrong spot increases dramatically. And so we'll keep playing around with a bit more grey, but it's about high time that I adjourned. So, well, it's been the most beautiful evening to spend with you guys. At the same time, more great things must come to an end. You know, you might be wondering too, now that we're pushing 7 or 8 p.m. here in New Zealand, what about Shelby? What about her dinner? What's your plan there, Seb? To that I would say, guys, don't panic. I've already made her dinner. I made her tacos before I came out and painted, which I thought was the safest bet, because that would mean that if we did and have go a little bit later than expected, no one would be hungry. And I think that is an important element. So one last little scan through here. There. There. There we go. This has been fun. Largest boat in Hong Kong, middle of the harbour, is a floating restaurant. No motor. I've been there and eaten there. Well, this is a fun coincidence. Fun note to finish on too. I like that. I like that a lot. Now, I'm just going to put these items into my bag. My beautiful little picnic bag. My 2 brushes. So I've got 2 brushes and a plate to clean. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my toolkit just down here, because we'll come back tomorrow morning, and with that down here still, that'll mean it'll be easier when I come down first thing in the morning. But one wild card is we don't know if it's going to rain in the night. So while the bag is waterproof, the painting won't handle it as well. So we'll take this back to shelter. Okay guys, all the best. Catch you later.